The Flemish Parliament is located in the very center of Brussels, and normally this place is crowded with politicians. Since a week or two, they're out there campaigning for the elections to be held on the 25th of May. These elections are the most important Belgium has ever known. Some even say the mother of all elections. For the region of Flanders, the challenges are considerable. It has to deal with new and important competences transferred from the federal policy level and at the same time boost the competitiveness of its industry. But let's have a look on where the Flemish region stands today, both politically and in terms of the socio-economic environment. The Flemish Parliament consists of 124 seats, taken up by 6 major political parties covering the spectrum from left to extreme right. The Christian Democrats of CD&V have always been the largest party by far, but in the last decade the traditional parties, including liberals and socialists, have lost power in favor of the Flemish nationalists of N-VA and to a lesser extent the extreme right of Vlaams Belang. Since 2009, the Flemish government is a coalition of Christian Democrats, Flemish nationalists and socialists. Its undisputed leader is Chris Peters from CD&V.
Flanders is a lot more advanced as an economy than Wallonia. It's a lot more open, it's a lot more ready to accept new technologies, new ideas, and its government is very keen to use those advantages, and its openness in trade, its openness in attitude to gain more business and more prosperity.
Now, what are the major achievements of this Flemish government? They established a new industrial policy, they invested massively in infrastructure, and notwithstanding the financial crisis, the budget is in balance. If Flanders aims to be an innovative, sustainable and caring society in 2020, it will have to produce better results in a lot of areas. The PAC 2020 consists of 20 ambitious projects with a clear delineation of the target figures. Flanders wants to generate prosperity and welfare and rank among the top 5 European regions. It requires more workers gainfully employed, in more suitable jobs and for longer average career terms. The high-quality standard of living needs to be preserved, while the government administration must become more efficient and more effective. Although clearly progress is made, economic key players are not convinced yet.
They made plans, they made the architecture of several programs they have to deal with, but the execution has to come, and this will be for the next government in Flanders.
I think the labour market, the mismatch on the labour market has to be tackled by the new Flemish government also.
I remember a nice long period when you had no government at all and everything seemed to be better.
This is Gaston Geens, the first minister-president of Flanders. His motto was, "What we do ourselves, we do better." With the 6th state reform at hand, Flanders now really has to prove that Mr. Geens was right. The 6th state reform, which has been voted by the federal government at the end of 2013, is yet another milestone in recent Belgian politics. Competences worth 17 billion euro are transferred from the federal level to the communities and regions. In fact, the budget of the Flemish region will be higher than the federal budget.
I think we will have in the next 5 years 2 periods. I think the first 2 years it will be we will see policies of stabilization, because with all the competence that are coming to Flanders, you can't do things in a rush way. So you have to create stabilization for the customers, for the citizens. But I believe that they will put up some policies for year 3, 4 and 5. And in Flanders, I think there will be a discussion on how can we activate labour market.
Some of the important competences, for instance on the level of labour and labour politics, the main decisions are kept at federal level.
Minister President, you mean?
Yeah.
Chris Peters.
And of the other 2 reasons?
Hard, no.
The Flemish government has installed its headquarters on this marvelous 18th century square. Behind me is the office of Chris Peters, the Christian Democrat who has been leading this government for the last 7 years. His party, CD&V, has been in charge since 2004, but the recent surge of the Flemish nationalists of NVA may end this period of dominance. The opponents of Mr. Peters are all Flemish nationalists. In the first place, Lisbeth Homans, alderman in the city of Antwerp. But also Vice Minister President Geert Bourgeois harbors ambitions to become the new #1 in Flanders. And who knows what party leader and Antwerp Mayor Bart de Wever is up to. The NVA is clearly leading the polls. According to most observers, they will break through the 30% ceiling. The traditional parties are forecasted to be way behind, but maybe they will join forces to set up a so-called tripartite government of Christian Democrats, Liberals and Socialists, just as they did 10 years ago.
If the election confirms the opinion polls, I think we're in dire straits, because then you have on the Flemish side the NVA as the foremost political force, and on south of in the country you have the PS, Parti Socialiste. If they maintain their programs as they presented today, as one Christian Democrat veteran told me, we're in for maybe 1,000 days.
One thing is for sure, Peters will fight to the very end before giving up his leadership.